Hi, my name is Jace Jirak, and I'm here today to give you my persuasion speech for the fundamentals of oral communication, and this is my audience. Do video games make you violent? The amount of violence in a person does not change just because he or she plays video games. Have you ever heard of rumors and false accusations that acts of violence are directly proportional to video games? According to the U.S. Office of Justice, murder rates for juveniles have fell in the last 20 years by 71.9%. All of my friends play video games. Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Halo, all shooting games. Not a single one of us are violent. Coincidence? Probably not. The amount of violence in a person does not change just because that person plays video games. We will now look at 3 big reasons why video games are a good thing and do not make people violent. My first main point is that video games make people more relaxed. What are you supposed to do all weekend if you have had a long, stressful week? My friends and I play hours on end of zombies, and it's a bonding thing, so I like it a lot. Number 2 is that it's easy to take off frustration when you beat a new Call of Duty mission. Playing video games eases the mind. Video games create you in a different dimension. You can be a hero in one game, or you can be a murderer in the next, or you could be a professional water skier in the next one. Video games takes your mind off all the stress and lets you focus on only one thing. We will now look at how video games affect our brains in everyday life. My second main point is that video games help improve decision making in the brain. I just played a violent video game. Should I go commit a crime? Thousands of people blame teenage violence on video games. Video games increase the brain's ability to focus and improve the prefrontal cortex. So if I play a lot of video games, I would know I have a good decision making that I won't commit a crime. You can look at my personal records that I never have been arrested, by the way, Katie. And plus, I play more video games than most people. I will now shift our train of thought to another reason why video games do not make people violent. My third main point is that you can't blame the work of a mental disorder on a video game. Aren't all school shootings and teen crimes related to video games? Yes, shootings are tragic, but I assure you that they aren't because people are holding a controller too much. There are so many other variables and factors that have been related to shootings. No, consider a mental disorder before video games because disorders can cause people to do some pretty sketchy stuff. In the Ed Thomas shooting a couple of years back at Appleton Parkersburg High School here in Iowa, Mark Becker suffered from schizophrenia, not from the play of violent video games. It caused him to kill his old coach, and it had nothing to do with video games. At the Columbine shooting, it was linked to the 2 shooters had psychopathology and depression. Remember that there will always be other factors regarding to violence, and no statistics relate to violence directly proportional to video games. Questions to be asked. Why are current perceptions about video games a problem? People and parents want to make new laws about banning video games because of their violence. I don't want that. I like playing Call of Duty games whenever I can. Katie, it looks like you do too. Who suffers from these false perceptions? Me, Jace Jirak, would suffer from these bans if they would be taking place. How is the industry being held back in some way? They really aren't. They don't care what the parents think about the games, and that's a good thing. There may be tons of violent, gore shooting games out there, but none of them have to do with real-life violence. Video games help you relax, become better at decision making, and you will always have to remember not to blame the video game for violent behavior. It is important to remember that video games are not responsible for crimes or school shootings. Know your facts about the real reasons on why crimes happen before you assume video games are to blame so that the games are not banned. Does anyone have any questions? Katie.
maybe the school shooter wouldn't have had the idea to shoot up the school if he hadn't been playing a violent video game.
There's just a whole lot more factors to be involved in than just the video games. Mason, I saw your hand.
What other reasons do you think he shot up a school besides the schizophrenia?
He could have been having a bad month, or a lot of factors.
All right.
Thank you.